All right, everybody, welcome back to round two. So, I know I left you on kind of a sour note last time with the black pill of like, they're all one big club, we ain't in it. This is just a terrible situation. We've crushed great communities and, you know, just destroyed their soul, made them jaded. Welcome back to the other side, where we start talking about how to change this and why people like Nick Shirley are so very important to our future. So, welcome back to the Green Agro Podcast. All right. So, now that we've covered all the doom and gloom, let's start realizing how we can fix this situation. No, our country's not going to look the same. Yeah, I don't think that that's a bad thing. Okay. What we've known for this long has been such an unmitigated lie. I think it's really time to start, shining the light into the darkness and clearing all this crap out. Because it's been going on for so long that I'm like, everything I learned in history class, everything about how this country's supposed to operate and all of that, it's never operated that way so long as I have been alive. And that coming to that realization was really crushing to me for a little while. It's a dark realization, and we just need to come out of it. But here's the thing. Shining the light into the dark and exposing it all and actually monitoring the reaction and getting rid of the people who we know for sure are caught up in the fraud, like Tim Walls, and the people who are just going to talk and not do anything, like JD Vance, Cash Patel, Ted Cruz has never done a thing ever. Those people, they got to go. And it's going to have to be us that takes them out. It is. And I'm talking all the way down to your local level. We all have to start paying attention. This is not just federal. And this isn't just state. Think about what has to be going on in the districts that involve Minneapolis. And Nick Shirley, people like Nick Shirley are the people who are going to expose this. We need to do something about it. We need to go pay attention to who's running our districts, who's running our state, who's sitting in government chairs. We need to support people like Nick who are willing to go and get run out of places. We need to support them with security so that they can go further and further and further and find the people involved so we can get them booted. Government employees that are involved with the corruption, get them fired. Every one of them. Get them fired. If you're involved in fraud in a government position of any kind, local, state, fed, fired. Never to be employed again. That's not out of the realm of reason, guys. These people are involved in conning you out of your money every day. So if you're in one of these positions, I highly suggest that you start whistleblowing and save yourselves. If you've been involved in any kind of way, I'd start making a deal. Second thing we got to do, your local politicians, guys. Some of the biggest corruption happens at the local level. And you start to notice that locally, it's like one family controls the universe, right? And they get taken care of. Anybody else experience that? If they're not doing anything for you that's good on a local level, vote them out. Stop listening to the smear campaign BS. Okay, our entire political system from local to fed, every election runs on some kind of smear campaign. Has discouraged good people from wanting to run for office. Actual good people. I mean, we just watched it on a federal level with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She supported Trump all the way through. She's human, she's fallible. She said some girl boss stuff that I don't like, but she genuinely cared about getting things done for the people and was very vocal about what a joke and what a just theatrical performance is actually going on in DC. And now she's resigned because she's been threatened. Her kids have been threatened by the President of the United States, who is still currently the most powerful person in the world. He's out there calling her treasonous. And she campaigned harder for him than like anybody else. What a backstabbing betrayal. And it's all just a smear game. That's what this country's operating on right now. We need to stop being played by the smear game. We need to stop caring. We need to care about actual corruption. The actual corruption is now plain as day. Anybody that pops off and talks big that's in office that could do something about this Minnesota situation and chooses not to is an enemy of the people. Okay? We need to start seeing our neighbors run for office. Just for a term. Even if it's just one term. People we actually know. Not people who say crap like, I want a career in politics. There's no such thing as a career in politics. Anyone who wants a career in politics wants to be part of the corruption. They want to be famous. They want to be important. They want something. What we should want is the people who are going to take one for the team and step up and go be in office and expose the crap that's going. This is why investigative reporters are going to be the biggest game changer in this country. Because they're going to find the whistleblowers who are willing to show what's really going on behind the scenes. Whether it's in government, law enforcement, you name it. Anything involving government needs to start being exposed. We've got corrupt prosecutors who manipulate systems. We've got corrupt judges left, right, and center. And guys, they're all in on the game together. So they all need to be exposed. And when they get exposed, we, the tax-paying citizens, need to get rid of them. We just have to. We have to get rid of the people who are causing all of the corruption. When the light gets shined into the darkness and we see the truth, we know who's not good for us. Stop voting for them. Stop promoting them. Stop cheering them on. Because they haven't done anything for you except for take your money at gunpoint and money launder it through the Ukraine, Minneapolis, you name it, it's getting gamed. Okay? We have a ton of people in this country who don't belong in this country, who got naturalized in this country over false pretenses. They don't belong here. So When Trump says he wants to start a denaturalization process, we need to hold him to that. And if that doesn't come through, we better start finding some real normal people who want change. Not a career in politics, just enough to get in there and fight and be vocal for it. To start kicking this crap out. And start kicking the people out who don't belong in this country, who do nothing but aid the government in committing fraud for your money. Because make no mistake, the government doesn't have money. They forcibly take it off of you. And it's supposed to be used for your benefit. Frankly, guys, I'm not seeing the benefit here. From left, right, or center. And I know I'm not the only one. So start paying attention to your local politics and what's going on. If you've got a county attorney who goes after people for bad reasons, next election cycle, find somebody to replace him. Make friends. Find somebody who's willing to take the spot and do the hard thing to take care of their neighbors. Know your neighbors. Know who's in your community with you. Help each other out. Be kind to one another. Know the plight of your neighbors. Know the struggles that they're going through. Care about the struggles that they're going through. And start working it out through this system. It's not a short fix. None of this is going to be a short fix unless some crazy people start doing some radical crap, which could just cause unmitigated chaos and do a lot of damage. I'm not advocating for that. I'm advocating for the longer game, for the awake game, and pushing through. Because truth and light wins in the end. And doing it in a place where you can get to know your neighbors, you can get to know your community, and you can just ignore the slop game of smearing the other person and all of this crap and all of the division. Who cares about Democrat or Republican anymore? You shouldn't. If you're still caught up in Democrat and Republican and pointing in different directions, you're missing the plot because they're all sitting in DC hanging out with each other, laughing at you. They're all sitting in your state capitol, laughing together, laughing at you. They're all sitting in your local town, laughing at you. Because it's not about Democrat versus Republican. Democrats have a role to play, Republicans have a role to play. And they're all hanging out together, laughing at us. Stop allowing the government to divide you. Get to know the people in your community and understand that if they vote for someone, it doesn't mean that they're a secret Nazi. Okay? If you know someone well enough that you've hung out with them, you've been friends with them, you know their heart, and then they vote for someone, just ask them the reasons why and stop just assuming that the media is right and they're a Nazi. Okay, I literally lost friends. Not close friends, mind you, but I lost friends because I voted for Donald Trump. Friends that I'd been hanging out with for months never spoke to me again because I voted for Donald Trump back in 2016. That's insane. Like 100% level insanity. I'm not a secret Nazi. Okay? Never was. Now, I've been called a Nazi, a grandma killer, a retard. You name it, I've been called it. But here's the truth. I'm me. I have always been me. That's not gonna change. There's not some secret part of me waving a Nazi flag around. That's never been a thing. But I got labeled that for having voted for Donald Trump. I got labeled as a racist when I was 18 years old and still in high school because I didn't wanna vote for Barack Obama. I didn't like his policy positions. I didn't like the fact that he was running, and if you weren't gonna vote for him, you got labeled as a racist. That struck me as not great. Back at 18 years old, that's been a long freaking time ago. Now that I understand that it's all one big group and we just aren't part of it, it seems silly because really we were gonna end up in the same position regardless. It's whoever's just gonna get us there faster and try to, fool the game and keep us divided. But that division started all the way back then. First election I ever voted in, I got called a racist because I wasn't gonna vote for the guy. It wasn't that I wasn't gonna vote for Barack Obama because he was black. I didn't care. Personally, I'd vote for Ben Carson all day long. All day. Because that dude wants nothing to do with any of it, and he's just a good-hearted man. But yeah, racist. When you really start to look at the heart of the issue and all of the division, and you just decide that you don't care, you're just gonna get people in who are reasonable and who want to take the government back to where it's supposed to be and stop just committing massive amounts of fraud. We'll get somewhere. And it may not be for us. It might be for our kids. But it's worth it. The Nick Shirleys of the world are going to save the nation if we let them. But if we allow people like Nick to put himself in harm's way, to go in and shine the light in the dark and find all of the corruption, and we proceed to do nothing but allow the government to keep playing the same game that they've been playing for decades and just dividing us and infighting, we'll live and die slaves to the Matrix. We need to instead get to know our neighbors, get to know their heart, and take the white pill. There is truth, there is light, and there is good in people. And if we focus on that, we might just save the nation and we might just get out of the whole global elite BS that's coming our way. Buckle in, guys. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But truth and light does indeed win in the end. It's not an easy road. It's going to suck. But it does win in the end. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Ponder on this. Roast me in the comments if you feel it necessary. Call me whatever name you want. Don't care. Built different. But let's start uniting and realizing that our neighbors and our friends need to be the people sitting in the government seat. They need to it needs to be people who actually genuinely care for the people of this nation and no other to fix what's been broken.